Dylan Wright has two musical identities as a solo artist and as a member of golden guitar winning duo Sons of Atticus. As a solo artist, he has released a new single, Those Nights, and announced an extensive tour called Songs and Stories, which will take him up and down the eastern seaboard to some really great venues, which I'm going to ask about. Hello, Dylan. How are you?
Hi, very good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Pleased to see you again. First up, congratulations on the Golden Guitar. It was for Bluegrass Recording of the Year, and Sons of Atticus is you and your longtime friend and collaborator Matt Joyce. And I think this award is overdue. Just
Yeah.
personal opinion.
No, it's we've been working very hard at it, so it's very nice to kind of get that recognition. And we got plenty more music to come.
Well, that's exciting. It sounds like you have been quite busy. I mean, for those who are listening or watching who may not be aware of Sons of Atticus, the bluegrass part may come as a surprise to your musicality, but
Yeah.
that duo is very much steeped in country traditions.
Yeah, definitely. We started off wearing suits and we realized when we got to Tamworth in suits, it was just a silly idea. So our when we started, we wanted that tr kind of traditional kind of country, but we write music however we feel and whatever's coming.
Yeah, right. So you obviously entered bluegrass. You could have been in a variety of categories, I think, with Sons of Atticus. Bluegrass,
Yeah.
I think, is pretty competitive. So were you loving yourself sick on awards night when you were
Yeah.
announced?
Yeah, we were just, it was so unexpected. And I think, especially with the bluegrass group, um, everyone was so talented. Like, we were just speechless, really. We didn't have a speech prepared. So we were just like, we were so honored to be nominated. And to kind of, I guess, showcase our songwriting ability with bluegrass as well, and just kind of every different genre and style of country that we can muster. We'll never stop kind of writing what we feel.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the great parts of Australian country music that's that sort of country, traditional country is part of it all. Still, it's part of the golden
Yeah.
guitars. It means that you're a young band, relatively speaking,
Mm.
but you can receive an award in that and be up against some people who are, decades older.
Yeah, it was. That's what I think the shock was. It was
Right.
like, we've been doing this for 7 years now, and to even get nominated for an award and then let alone win it is pretty incredible. So we're very grateful, and we're not going to stop. We're just going to keep on pushing through. We were actually meant to start recording again next week, and yeah, another bluegrass number on the way.
So as you said, you've been doing this for 7 years, and some people will know you just as a solo artist after Australian Idol, and you have been releasing music as a solo artist. And what's interested me about this over the past couple of years is that these two strands have actually really developed separately but adjacent, and you have these distinct identities. But I was writing my questions, and I thought still a little bit like Superman, like he's going into the phone booth and
Yeah.
switching costumes.
Yeah, well, you might not know that I have a third band.
Oh no, I didn't.
And that's an electronic band. We've got over 100 million streams and 850,000 monthly listeners. So we played our first shows and sold them all out in Turkey. So that's my kind of Batman alter ego.
Right. So that explains why your bio was reading that you just toured Europe with Australian dance outfit Breathe. I was thinking, oh, how did Dylan come to work with them? No, it's your actual band.
Yeah, so I've been working with them for 10 years. And yeah, I don't speak about it too much, but it's kind of just in the background there. It's my darker, moodier kind of self and very different to country. I wear a trench coat on stage, but still cowboy boots.
I'm now so intrigued. But also intrigued about your listening habits, as in which music you're listening to, because this is yet again another strand. So your Dylan Wright solo music is separate to Sons of Atticus, and now this is electronic. So in your leisure time, if you have any, because I
Yeah,
think
not
sometimes
much.
when you're an artist, listening to music becomes a bit like work. But in your leisure time, what do you like to listen to for fun?
Um, Lately I've been listening to a lot of Australian music because I feel like it doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Like we're in it, but we're always listening to UK artists or American artists. So I've been trying my best, especially this year, to kind of start listening to more Australian artists. But a lot of my listening is country, a lot of bluegrass, like Billy Strings and early Zach Top, and but then a lot of podcasts and audiobooks as well.
Okay. So which audiobooks are you listening to? I say this as someone who works in book publishing by day, so I have a professional interest here, Dylan.
Oh, I've got over 450 Audible books
Okay.
I've listened to. Geez, what have I listened to at the moment?
Well, I'll just say non-fiction or fiction. We'll
Oh.
categorize it that way. Probably easier.
I'm deep into my in Bible study at the moment, so I've
Mhm.
gone deep into people who read the Bible and have their different theological thoughts about it all.
Yeah.
So I can't think of a book off the top of my head. I don't have my phone near me. Oh, I do. Let's be real here. Actually, you know what? I have been reading this book. Where is it? Um, I met a man called Ben Crow, and he's
Oh
just
yeah.
written a
Yeah.
book by the name of Where the Light Comes In, Gets In. And that has just changed so much for me. It's
Okay.
he's a mindset mentor and he studied philosophy, which is what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
So yeah, he was and he reads the book. Yeah, Where the Light Gets In. This is the one.
And he's also he was a mindset coach for Ash Barty, I believe,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I think some other high performance athletes. And the Bat book is yes has been selling very well. I say as an
Yeah.
industry person,
Yeah.
been a long time coming. I think around the time Ash Barty won her first Slam title, everyone was quite interested in him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so you said you have got Bible studies, and did I also see that you study in counselling?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Is that part of it? The same study track or separate?
Separate. This is just I've been doing that for 6 months now.
Hmm.
And just wanting to kind of work on myself and on the road we meet so many different people. And I think with my songs especially, they talk of life and death and happiness and sadness and sometimes people just unload on you. And I studied youth work when I was younger, when I was 18. And so we kind of dabbled in a bit of counseling, but it's nice to learn how to listen and ask the right questions and just kind of be there for people.
Yeah, I guess also, as you said, it's for you in that I think also probably to help you protect yourself. Because when people are coming to talk
Yeah.
to you about some really heavy stuff, to have some tools to look after yourself when that's happening, because obviously, given your amount of faith, you would want to be empathetic with them in the moment, but that can be a lot to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, big time. It's just letting yourself know what you can take in and what you can leave there and just giving them the right tools and options to go away with as well.
So clearly, you're not one to rest on your laurels because you have all these musical projects. You're also reading a lot. You're studying. Do you see it all as basically just one big flow of? I don't want to say making the most of life because that sounds a bit trite, but it's more
Yeah.
just embracing opportunities. It seems like you're not someone. Well, it seems like you are someone who will say yes to experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And learning to say no has been a big learning curve as well. But yeah, a couple of years ago, I was in a really dark place and didn't want to be here anymore. So, coming out of that darkness and realizing how lucky we are to be here, and just kind of taking every day as a big blessing and learning as much as possible.
I think that's part of having faith, whoever you believe in or whatever you believe in, is actually realizing that it's you're not the center of the universe. That
Yeah,
actually there is so much more around there, however big you think that universe is and who's there for it. But it helps put things in perspective, I think, and can really help when you're in a dark place to think, okay, well, if I actually offer this up to something or someone bigger,
Mm.
it's not solely my responsibility. And the the philosophical basis of the past few centuries has actually been to put all the impetus on the individual to
Yeah,
sort everything out. And when you offer it up to something bigger, it's not all on you anymore.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Kind of just keeps you humble, and I've got two daughters, so um, it just makes it takes that ego away from it. So it gives me purpose, and everything I do in life is for them as well.
I think may also help you navigate still some of the gnarlier parts of being in the public eye. I did see in a clip that you put on your socials for the latest single, Those Nights, there's a screenshot of someone who called you one-dimensional on
Yeah,
social media. And just the brief conversation we've had now, I think would illustrate that you are definitely not that. And that person was clearly lazy and hadn't done their research. But
yeah,
yeah, you put it out there. You put it in a clip. You were like, okay, well, it was almost like you were embracing it or embracing the opportunity to address it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's funny. People have such an idea of you when they don't really know you, especially seeing you on TV or they think, things get handed to you all the time or whatever it is, but they don't see the behind the scenes of, I was sleeping for 5 hours per night for a lot of the past 2 years and working my butt off. So it's kind of nice in a way to think people, I don't know, think so lowly of you, I guess, because it just kind of makes me feel like how proud I am of how much I've done myself and with my team as well.
Yeah, certainly nothing has been handed to you because I've seen you in the trenches in Tamworth in the heat,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
playing the shows, doing the work with Matt, doing the work on yourself as well.
Mm.
But I did mention those nights in that question, and that is the new single. And I think it's a great summer song. It has that feeling because it's about carefree times and has that beat to it, almost that Boys of Summer beat, which I
Yeah.
love. Did you intend for it to be released at this time of the year?
I didn't. I wrote this in December 2023,
Oh, okay.
thinking that this was going to be my first single after being kicked off Australian Idol. And so that didn't happen. So no better than 2 years later than to release it.
Yeah, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't caught up with the news. Dylan actually won Australian Idol the year he was on it. So the song was obviously shelved, but you then released music after that. So it
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, I think with the EP, yes, I can't see how it would have fit in with that particular EP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is kind of a more nostalgic kind of looking back song, and it fits really well with the rest of the songs I've written and plan to release this year as well.
So you talked about writing songs for Sons of Atticus, and you just mentioned their songs that you're planning to release. So I'm now curious about the songwriting process because you obviously will have some time that I'm not quite sure when you're fitting in the songwriting, whether you actually plan it or whether you do it when you can. But once you have a song, if you start a song, it could go either, well, now I know it's one of three ways. It could go could
Yeah.
go to to Breathe, or it could go to Sons of Atticus or solo. Do you have a sense of what it's for when you start writing, or is it you're actually really intentional about, say, how you write for Sons of Atticus, how you write for yourself solo?
Yeah, very intentional. I think with myself, I'll go into a writing session or I'll write by myself and kind of know that it's for me. It's never really for Sons of Atticus unless we're planning on recording soon or we want some music out, then um, I will write for Sons of Atticus, but Matt will just be together really. So and then with the other electronic project, Breathe, we'll all be in the room together and we'll kind of nut that out together. So they're all pretty they've all got their own engines kind of going, and it's never just me writing a song. It's always usually with someone else. I'll start it, and then we'll kind of take it in with other minds as well.
So you said you wrote those nights at the end of 2023, and then it's taken till now to bring it out. And that suggests that you also have an editing process for the songs that you've written, that it's actually whether you're editing the song within the song or you're writing and then you're editorially deciding what happens when. So how many songs are socked away waiting to go?
Yeah, I think this year I might be close to releasing 20 to 30 songs
Wow.
across the three projects. Um, so yeah, with those nights especially, that got shelved just because of the 2 years that kind of went on, and I wanted it for a specific moment as well. And it wasn't just going to be a song just put out there, so it was going to be a part of a body of work. So there's not too much editing, but I kind of in my head I kind of know what songs go together and when they should come out as well.
Okay, so 20 to 30 songs this year, even if we just go with 20, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of songs.
Yeah, 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 I guess so. Yeah.
It's about two albums worth if we
Yeah,
look at it like that.
yeah.
So does that mean you actually have a really good schedule that you actually like you put everything in, you're like it's going to be this timing, or are you using instinct to decide when things come out?
Yeah, no, everything's kind of planned 12 to 18 months out.
Okay.
So yeah, last year was kind of a year where I didn't release too much music for myself, but there was lots of writing, lots of recording, and I think I wrote the songs that I have behind on the shelf, I guess, probably there's probably 50 songs there and writing with other people, and I just love songwriting. So that's why I can try and write with different genres, go from electronic, like I literally was in the studio writing electronic music one day and then did bluegrass the next day, and then did pop the day after that. So yeah, I'm happy to write.
So would you consider that you're first and foremost a songwriter?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's I think being a singer, and I think I might have said this to you before, is underrated. I think in the culture we have singer-songwriter is a term that applies to quite a few artists, but we tend to emphasize the
Mhm.
songwriter part and not look at the singing part. But
Yeah.
humans love amazing voices. That's why something like Australian
Mm.
Idol exists. So I think
Yeah.
that actually you can be the songwriter primarily, but to have that singing voice as well, that's like a it's not a separate identity, but it's definitely a separate skill and a separate
Mm.
thing that you're developing and working on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think especially with shows like Australian Idol, um, in the past they haven't been amazing at showcasing songwriters. I know you get people like Matt Corby, especially early on, who was showcasing his. They used to have a segment where you could write your own original music and perform it on TV. And I think, especially my year and last year and this year coming on Australian Idol, there's more songwriters kind of coming about.
Hmm.
So it's not just a talent show anymore. I feel like it's showcasing Australian music.
Yeah. And on the singing front, I saw you perform with Matt live at Fresh Country in Sydney last year, and you performed "Mess of a Man," and you did release that as a because that was on the EP, but
Yeah.
you released that as an acoustic single. Now that's an incredibly powerful vocal, so I imagine that part of the decision there was yeah, strip back,
Mm.
pretty much just your voice. That's a really powerful song.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very heartfelt song. And that was done in one take, the first take. And I like that it's so raw. It's not perfect, and I don't think a song like that should be perfect. I think it's got those little nuances and that kind of rawness that makes that song what it is.
Well, I'm not surprised it was done in one take because having seen you play it live, you could have heard a pin drop in that room when you performed it. But even
Yeah.
Matt looked like he was like, "Oh my God, who's this guy?"
Yeah. Yeah, especially it's funny when we play at places and there's people talking and it can be a bit rowdy. When I get that, or if I can try and look at someone and try and get their attention by singing or hitting a certain note, that kind of eggs me on a bit. And then Matt knows that, so when he when he stops and he's like, "Well, okay," yeah, it's kind of just proof to me that singing and songwriting can get through to anyone at all, even if they can't be bothered to know who you are.
Now, if someone would like to have the experience that I had when I saw you play live, they can because you're heading out on tour. There's my segue. You're going to New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, and one show in the ACT. I imagine Matt's going with you because even when you play your solo shows, you tend to take him with you.
Yes, I know, and this is the first time I'm not.
Shocked and appalled, Dylan.
I know, I know. Yeah, this is just me and my guitar,
Oh,
and
how fantastic.
yeah, and plenty of. I haven't done this in a long time, but I'm gonna play some songs that I haven't played since I was 12. And just from busking days and telling all different kind of stories and some original songs I haven't played in probably 10 years or so. So yeah, it's going from the start of my career up until now, and it's a bit of a crossroads moment, I guess.
So it is called Songs and Stories, which suggests you're going to talk a bit why each song's been selected. Given that that's covering a large swath of your life, are you going to change the set list each night? So is there motivation for people to come to more than one show, for example?
Yeah, definitely. I've thought about that idea. Especially because I know that there's someone in Victoria who's bought a ticket to each 4 nights in Victoria. So
Pressure's on.
yeah, I know, I know. So yeah, I do want to kind of keep it fresh for myself and anyone else who wants to come to different nights.
So you mentioned you'll be playing some songs that you haven't played since your childhood. Now that childhood was in the Shire in Sydney. Now that's
Yes,
the Sutherland Shire or God's own country as it is sometimes
that's
known.
it.
And you will be playing a hometown show at the Brass
Yeah.
Monkey in Cronulla, where you often play when you're back.
Yeah, I first played there when I was 16.
Wow.
and there are no underages allowed. So, yeah, I'll play a few songs that I used to play then. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away. You have to come along. But that's 50% sold out, the Brass Monkey.
And I think because you're also playing Mary's, I'm just thinking for the Sydney people, Mary's Underground and the Beer Shed in Campbelltown. So if people did want to come to different nights within the
Yeah,
Sydney area, they definitely can.
come along, please. Everywhere.
And no, I was looking at the list of venues. I thought this is a really lovely tour. You're playing the Stag and Hunter in Newcastle, Odessa at
Mm.
Levers in Victoria, Milton Theatre,
Yeah.
Wesleyan in Victoria, Brunswick Picture House, which is in Brunswick Heads. Now, I actually did I've done yoga classes at Brunswick Picture House, not
Nice.
a gig, but it's an amazing building. So I
It
was looking at it
is.
thinking, did Dylan make a wish list of all
Yeah,
these
I
amazing
did.
venues?
I
Okay.
did. We had to work hard to get it. That's all thanks to Select and Wheelhouse for putting that together because I don't know how they did it.
It's phenomenal. So will you be, do you have to drive yourself around or can you at least catch a plane between
Um,
cities?
yeah, I think we'll see how ticket sales go, I guess. No, we'll I'll be getting around. And there's a few other things in the works too. So yeah, it's gonna be busy, a busy couple of months.
It's quite extensive. I think it's April and May. I did see
Yeah,
May dates,
May and June.
May and
So
June.
yeah. Yeah.
And then I would imagine, yeah, because people in Perth will tend to say no one ever comes to Perth.
And
And
I was there last week. So yeah.
because also you've been to some other places I didn't mention earlier. You were at CMA Fest. You were supporting Tina Arena. You were playing with
Yeah.
Busby Maroons. And this is all in the past few months, I think. So how was
Yeah.
Nashville? Was that your first time going?
First time to Nashville, I was very scared to go because I knew that I'd love it so much, and it didn't disappoint. I was there for 5 or 6 days, and then I flew straight to Paris to do a run of shows in Europe. So it was quick, but I did 3 intensive days of songwriting. I wrote like 8 songs in 3 days or something, and played over there. So yeah, it was amazing.
And I've seen Tina Arena live a couple of times in recent years, and that's a big sound. So I
Yeah.
do understand why you were put on as a support act. You cannot have anyone measly supporting Tina.
Yeah, and I got to sing with her every night. So that was insane as well. She's just I would call her my Italian auntie because she was just so nice and caring. So yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, it's a big show too. Well, at least the ones I saw.
Yeah.
And then with Busby Maru, who just I actually interviewed Tom Busby a couple of days ago, and he was saying how he'd been planning to take a break, and then they just keep getting shows. So clearly that was with you.
Yes, yes, they're crazy. They're so nice as well. I actually first saw Busby Maru when I was 16 in Cronulla. They were on stage. So yeah, to come full circle and support them in like regional Queensland, I felt so scared because I had my Sharks jersey in my bag, and they would say every night that I was a Sharks fan and from New South Wales, and people were like boo. But it was really good. I loved it.
Yeah, those are fighting words in Maroon country.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I can't wait to get back up there.
So this may seem like an unusual question, but you mentioned you've had 5 hours sleep per night for the past couple of years. What you're about to embark on with all these releases with the shows, you have to be fit, I think. So do you? I
Yeah.
remember once asking Lee Kernaghan about this, and he said that he had his liquid greens. That's how he
Yeah.
kept his energy up. I'm wondering if you have a regime to help keep in shape.
I do kind of now. I do have some liquid greens. But I have been the past couple of nights, touch wood, I've been sleeping 8 hours. So I'm feeling good. I think after all this studying and kind of and just being deep with more faith and meditation and prayer and everything, I've kind of begun to release a lot. So I feel pretty good. I feel really good. And with the Busby Maru shows, we're doing 4 shows in a row. And so you learn pretty quickly how much you can give to people and how much you need some time to yourself and just to not eat crap on the road as well.
Which is hard sometimes when you're traveling. It's unless you're going
Yeah.
to pack nuts in your
Yeah.
saddlebag. Like
Yeah.
it's tricky.
Exactly. It's really hard sometimes, but um, yeah, you make some sacrifices and you learn to, if you like, I'm not going to eat dinner, so let's have dinner at 3 o'clock. That's fine. Even if it's a salad or something, it's much better than Macca's at midnight.
Very true. Now you mentioned meditation, and I think meditation is the magic method there in terms
Mhm.
of maintaining equilibrium, but can also be hard to maintain on the road because you're not necessarily in a regular schedule. So again, perhaps a question that's out of left field, but if someone's listening to this and thinking, I've always wanted to meditate, but I think my life is
Mm.
too choppy and busy, I think you, Dylan, are the example of how one can fit it in. So do you have any tips
Yeah.
for the beginning meditator? Is it 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there?
Yeah, well, yeah, it could be five. I do between 15, 18 minutes. I my meditation is on the rosary. So it's
Mhm.
like a prayer meditation, and I was always so bad at kind of having time to myself. And that's I just have those 15 to 18 minutes just in the car before I leave for the day or just before I go to bed. Sometimes, yeah, both. But it kind of just steadies my breath and kind of gives me more purpose for what I'm trying to achieve as well and just to release.
Yeah. And I think we can see the results. This is the through line that in your creative output, which is getting bigger and bigger, expanding. Expanding is the word
Yeah.
I'm looking for. But
Yeah.
so I'm going to leave it there because you have household life and you have music to release, record and release. But it's been great to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.